we've got this from Al Jazeera. This is a bit of a summary of sort of the most recent happenings over in Gaza. Now, before people say, "Oh, Al Jazeera is biased." Well, yes, Al Jazeera is biased, right? They certainly lean pro-Palestinian, but at the same time, I've read this article already. It seemed pretty neutral. It basically just reported sort of the claims of Hamas and the claims of the IDF, sort of describing what happened over the weekend, because some people had some questions. They were like, "Hey, has the Gaza ceasefire been broken?" This article kind of breaks it down, so I do want to react to this and read this out for you guys in case you guys kind of wanted, a little summary or catch up of kind of what happened over the weekend when it came to the whole Israel-Hamas ceasefire, let's say, because the war isn't over, right? It says, has the Gaza ceasefire been broken? Fragile ceasefire to end Israel's 2-year war on Gaza hangs by a thread, with Rafah crossing closed, aid restricted. Israel has killed nearly 100 Palestinians in Gaza and wounded 230 since the fragile truce brokered by the United States came into effect on October 10th. Over a tense period of accusation and counter-accusation, Israel's army has shot at unarmed Palestinians and bombed Gaza on more than one occasion. The latest was on Sunday when it claimed Hamas fighters had attacked its soldiers in the Rafah area, which Israel controls. Israel's war on Gaza, described by international organizations and a United Nations commission as a genocide, has killed more than 68,000 people and wounded 170,200 since October 2023. A total of 1,139 people died in Israel during the Hamas-led attacks on October 7, 2023, and nearly 200 were taken captive. So, who broke the ceasefire? Is there still a ceasefire? Are the Palestinian people finally getting peace and aid? Here's what to know. What happened? Why did people say the ceasefire was broken? This is the key part of the article that I want to react to here. The Israeli military said on Sunday that Hamas had violated the agreement and 2 of its fighters had killed 2 Israeli soldiers in Rafah. Now, I'm choosing to believe this. I mean, this sounds believable, right? Also considering the next section here, it says Israel carried out an extensive wave of strikes across the Gaza Strip. Very obviously, this is disproportionate. You got 2 soldiers killed by 2 militants, and then you're bombing a bunch of areas in Gaza. Extremely disproportionate. That's not how they should have responded. You could have even done a drone strike on the 2 people who actually shot your soldiers, but instead you just indiscriminately bomb the strip. No, you shouldn't be doing that. But then here's this. Hamas's armed wing, the Qassam brigades, said it was unaware of any clashes, pointing out that Israel controls the Rafah area and the brigades had no contact with any Palestinian fighters in Rafah. I believe this as well. Now, do I trust Hamas? No. Do I think Hamas lies? Yes. But first of all, I don't think that Hamas lies all the time, because then their lies would hold no power. And also Israel lies as well. Sometimes. Second of all, communication in that region since the war started has just naturally been spotty. Plus, with all of the plus the toll that Hamas has suffered, the negative impacts on their infrastructure from losing the war. They are losing the war with the IDF. It makes perfect sense that they would not really be able to have effective communication with their with all of their troops all across the area. So of course, the Hamas leadership can broker a ceasefire deal with Israel all they want to, but if they can't reach all their troops, they might not even know that that his deal has been brokered. This happens quite often in wars, actually, where fighting continues to happen even though the war is officially over, because not all the troops know that it's time to stop fighting. So that very likely, in my opinion, is sort of what happened here, because Hamas, I think, was actually quite happy about this ceasefire as well, because they were a bit tired of all of their militants and terrorists getting killed. I don't think that Hamas militants would have willingly jeopardized that momentary respite just because they wanted to shoot a couple of Jews. I just don't think that that's what happened here. This is not the only time Hamas has been accused of violating the ceasefire. Israel has said Hamas is dragging its feet on returning the bodies of 28 captives who were killed during Israel's bombardment of Gaza. Hamas said from the outset that I don't know if English was their first language, to be fair. Hamas said from the outset that it needs heavy digging equipment to be able to excavate and find all of the captives' bodies, as well as the bodies of some 10,000 Palestinians believed to have died beneath the rubble of Israel's bombing. What were the terms of the ceasefire? The ceasefire is a 20-point proposal unveiled by the U.S. at the end of September and mediated with the help of Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey. The conditions include an end to hostilities in Gaza by both Israel and Hamas, Israel lifting its blockade of all aid entering Gaza and stopping its interference in its distribution, Hamas releasing all captives held in Gaza, alive or dead, Israel releasing some 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and disappeared people, Hamas removing itself from Gaza's governance, which would be in the hands of a technocratic government, Israeli forces withdrawing from Gaza in stages, Hamas disarming under the agreement with amnesty for some members and safe passage to other countries for others. It is my understanding that neither side has held this perfectly. I don't know that Israel has lifted its blockade, for example, and I don't know that they would ever stop this interference with its distribution because they are concerned, and I think rightfully so, that, contraband might be smuggled in, used to create terrorist infrastructure that would then be used to attack Israel. Now, I will say, to be fair, also, if you sign an agreement, you really should be sticking to it. So, if this is part of the agreement, then Israel should be following it, regardless of whether if they have security concerns. If they had security concerns, then maybe they shouldn't have agreed to that tenet, But that's on them. Hamas's response accepted the condition of releasing all captives and leaving Gaza's governance to an independent Palestinian administration. As for the remaining demands on Hamas, it said needs to be addressed within an inclusive Palestinian national framework of which we will be an integral part, into which we will contribute. It says, did Israel abide by the terms? Israel has violated the deal 80 times, the government media office in Gaza says, killing at least 97 Palestinians. I mean, they're run by Hamas. I'm not sure how much I believe them on that without more details. On Friday, the Israeli military fired on a civilian vehicle, killing 11 members of the Abu Shaban family in the Zaytun neighborhood. There were 7 children and 3 women in the car. The family was trying to reach their home. On Sunday, Israel killed dozens of Gaza in air raids and attacks. On Monday, after Israel said it would buy by the deal again, it killed several Palestinians in northern Gaza's Shujaia neighborhood, alleging they posed a threat to Israeli soldiers after they crossed the unmarked yellow line behind Israel, which Israel's army pulled back. I will say this, they should mark the yellow line, but I will say, you can't just encroach on areas designated for, military installations, right? That's like if some random dude just walks onto a military base and is mad they get detained or shot. Bro, you just can't do that. You just can't do that. Now, if Israel isn't marking the line, then that's on them. But as long as they make clear, oh, hey, this is where our line is, then you can't cross that. Israel also imposed restrictions on aid, keeping the Rafah crossing closed and telling the UN on Tuesday it would only allow 300 aid trucks, half the number in the deal. Did Hamas abide by the terms? Hamas released all 20 living captives and, despite accusing Israel of violating the ceasefire over and over, has recovered and returned 12 of the 28 bodies of the captives. On Friday, Hamas reiterated that it is committed to the terms of the ceasefire deal, but that recovery was difficult given the sheer number of rubble Israel created with its relentless bombing. I believe this. I don't know that even all of the bodies are going to be recovered, to be honest. Without new equipment and external assistance, Hamas noted that the effort would be slow and could not be guaranteed. Hamas's efforts at retrieving captives' bodies come as Gaza's civil defense said more than 10,000 slain Palestinians remain trapped under debris and rubble across the enclave. So those are kind of the main sections of the article I wanted to go through. If you want to learn more about the situation, you can read that article. There are other outlets as well. There's Times of Israel, AP News, Reuters, who all do, I think, good journalistic work when it comes to what's been happening in Gaza throughout the Israel-Hamas war. So I would recommend checking that out as well. I think it's good news for now that there is a ceasefire. Just hopefully both sides can abide by the ceasefire, for a long enough time to where someone can find some sort of agreement, whether it's Trump brokering it between Israel and Hamas, whether it's a third party stepping in. Someone hopefully can step in and be like, hey, let's find a way to actually end this war. And I don't know if this is actually going to happen, that the war is going to end anytime soon, because Israel's strongly incentivized to keep the war going, especially Netanyahu, because he's under investigation for alleged corruption. And so if the war ends with the way that the Israeli government is set up, the prosecution of him would resume. And he would very likely be deposed and removed from political office. So he's incentivized to keep the war going as long as possible. So I find it very hard to believe that the war is ending anytime soon. But I do think that it's fine to be happy and excited for the ceasefire, because I do think it is a good thing.